athletics department in the fundraising area, and also has really focused on former player relations. He was a star on the high school football field, a star on the college football field as well. Javon, what's up, my man?
What's up, Richard? What's going on? Appreciate the introduction, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate a few minutes of your time this afternoon. So let's go back to that 2015, 16, 17, 18 window when you were wearing red and blue. Give me a memory or two that stands out from that particular game, from the Egg Bowl.
Man, the Egg Bowl, man, being from Mississippi, it meant so much. Growing up, playing against those guys in high school, to playing with them in college, it meant a lot. You know, when you get to that game, it just means a little bit more. You know, it's a rivalry game, SEC game, but that game, no matter what's the record, no matter what's going on in the world, that game means a lot because usually it's the only game on TV that day. So it's pretty big. But just going back to the records, man, you know, playing 15 through 18, I go back to that 17 season, man. We go out there, you know, Coach Luke's the interim coach at that time. But I remember, man, just having that 11 on offense and defense, you know, with scoring touchdowns with Jordan Wilkins and A.J. Brown and DK. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Just some funny stories that you have out there. I mean, we're just killing them in the pass game and run game. And obviously, you know, they got a really good defensive front. I mean, hats off to Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, he worked us every game for those 3 years he was there. But just funny stories with the O-line, just competing and having fun and just, you know, silencing those cowbells. I think that was the greatest memory I had.
How much talking was there at the line of scrimmage? I never know exactly what to make of that. Like, people go, oh, you know, there's tons of trash talking between offensive line and defensive line. How much of that's actually happening during the game?
Oh, it's happening so much. I remember they had they had a guy. He I forgot the name, but between him and Jeffrey Simmons, they talked our heads off. I mean, he was barking at us. I mean, all that type of stuff. But you know, we'll go back and forth. I remember it was me and Rod Taylor going on a block. And we actually scored a touchdown on that play. It was a play action. And Rod Taylor goes and say, "Hey, Jeffrey, we're about to score." I mean, just stuff like that, man, that we still talk about to this day. And obviously, we went 2-2 against them during my time, but just stuff like that, man, it goes a long way. Friendly competition. And then obviously, you know, 2018 was a big massacre.
Yeah, that's probably not one that you spend a lot of time thinking about how much fun you had on that particular night.
Nah, no question.
You know, I think this game, there's so much meaning to it, but especially if you're from the state of Mississippi and you grew up playing high school football and you were recruited by both. You were. You're recruiting. I mean, you were one of those linemen that people in Starkville knew who you were long before it was time for you to make a decision. People in Oxford knew who you were, but so did people in Tuscaloosa and Auburn and Baton Rouge and a whole bunch of other places. Take us back into that recruiting cycle when you were being courted, when folks were trying to convince you to come and play for them.
Man, it was a blessing to be in that position, getting recruited by a bunch of people. You know, going through that process and narrowing it down. You know, obviously the in-state schools meant a lot. Southern Miss was kind of a picture, you know, credits to Todd Monken for trying during his time. We had my former coach Buckley with him. But, you know, came down to it, you know, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Auburn, actually. You know, during the time, me and my cousin Jesse Jackson was getting highly recruited. You know, we'll go up there, but, you know, every time I went somewhere, Ole Miss always felt like home. You know, just with the people there, you know, you take football out of it, and you go on the campus, you go in the city, Ole Miss just felt like home, especially everywhere you go. And that name means a lot when you're going somewhere and you're going across the country and somebody's saying hotty toddy. So narrowed it down. It was, you know, between Auburn and Ole Miss truly won my heart.
Javon Patterson visiting with us, former offensive lineman at Ole Miss. You know, you've done something from a career standpoint that not everybody has the opportunity to do. You've come back and chosen to work at your alma mater. I don't know that, you know, we're in a different era of college football, right? With NIL and all the money that is there. Maybe you wish you could play in this era because that bank account would look pretty good right now. I would imagine that would have been good for you, you know.
Hey, no question. Would have got a really good head start.
But the thing is, and this has been the case for a long time. So you get the degree. And you build relationships within the university community, and that kind of opens a door for you when your football playing days come to an end.
Yep. And I'll take you through that. During school, just my mom's hard work instilled into me, going to a really good school district and Pedal School District. Then coming to Ole Miss and realizing that, hey, student athlete really means a lot. Obviously, I was a really good athlete, but being a student meant a lot to me as well. So whenever I, got to school, Jennifer Saxon was in our FedEx, and she took me under her wings and did a bunch of networking with that, and was able to be on a bunch of committees. Obviously learned under Keith and Ross during that time as well. So I credit those things. When I left school, I was prepared enough. Obviously got drafted to the NFL and stuff, and I was able to get done and use those networking. Credit to Keith and his staff and Denson and Silas Staines and Matt. Got a chance to come back and work here.
You mentioned the 2017 game in Starkville. That was a 31-28 win.
Yep.
I vividly remember that post-game locker room. That you mentioned Matt Luke was the interim head coach,
yep.
And there was a huge push from players on that team for him to become the head coach. What do you remember about that post-game locker room?
Oh, man, just going in there, taking the Egg Bowl trophy in there, taking pictures out of the bus. You remember, though, very vividly, they still probably have videos on the internet, but just everybody chanting, "We want Luke." I think at that time, just the passion, the energy that he brought, with the staff that was already there, but just what he brought to the team really meant a lot to us and really held us together during a tough time.
Javon, I admit very publicly that I'm friends with Matt. I think the world of him and of his family. And there are a lot of Ole Miss fans that, talk about his time as head coach at Ole Miss and the program not being where it wanted to be. I wonder if perhaps history will be a little kinder to him when it's all said and done for kind of being stabilizing things in that transition time. As a coach, what do you remember about Matt Luke and what stands out about him for you?
Just Coach Luke was very, very authentic and intentional about everything he did. From the time that I was a recruit from ninth grade, on time when I was on the field, off the field. I'm a dad of two, married to my wife Tasia, who I met here. Just those things was really instilled as a coach. Obviously, he got the best out of you every day. He was a player's coach. So he would get out there, hands-on, got with you, just things of that nature that I remember. But it was always tough love, but he wanted the best out of you. He got the best out of everybody.
One of the things that you've done in your time working at Ole Miss after your playing career is over is try to connect former players back to the program. And that seemed to be something that was missing or maybe was not happening as often as it should have or in as greater detail as it should have. How has that gone, and how has it been received by some of the former players?
It's been great. I think, with Jessica Lynch over at M Club, we coincide with a bunch of things, and just the relationships we've been able to cultivate, it's been really great. They see what we have, they see what we have going on. They see that they have a point person to come back, whether it's come back and try to get involved with tickets, get involved with giving, get involved with being mentors, things of that nature. They have a point person to come back to, and it means a lot to them. They see what we're doing with events. One cool event that we've been able to have each year is a Recent Rebs. We kind of invite every former student athlete back, and it's been a really good success over the last. It's been on a big weekend, and then just connecting each coach that we've had with all the former players. It's been really good. They really see it. They see what's going on. It's cool when they come back and kind of see the experience that they may not have had in college, but have it now. So it's been a really, really good focus point of us, and I think it's having a good return on investment.
How many guys that have come back have said to you, hey, this is the first time I've been back since I played, or the first time I've been back in a decade
over
or
the
a
last
long
3
time?
years, it's probably been more, but I know about 25 for sure that's came up to me and just been like, Javon, this has been incredible. Thanks for making this experience awesome. Whether it's a tour, getting to see the new facility, or just taking the time to come to practice, or things like that, man. It just means a lot. And, sometimes you don't want to take it for granted because it means a lot for people coming back like that. But it's a pretty cool sight to see.
Javon Patterson, former offensive